And
Yeah.
now, there's one artist, Bad Boy, I gotta ask you about, man. What was it like working with Biggie? What was y'all relationship with him? You know, your personal experiences with him.
Oh, working with Big was a genius, man. And no other way I could say it. He was a genius in every aspect of it as what he was a genius for. And that was being a lyricist and being an orator and being a storyteller. You know what I'm saying? He was a genius at that. And our relationship with him was very friendly. You know, we weren't Junior Mafia close, but we were close. You know what I mean? Like we were family, but we weren't that close. You know, because of course he had his family coming up from Brooklyn and all that. We're coming from the A, but as far as label mates, we were really close, man. And he had our back, man. He loved 112. Like that's why he shouted us out on so many times on that Life After Death album, man. Like because he was just such a fan of 112, and he definitely wanted to work more with us. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get the opportunity to work with dude, but he definitely was a big fan of 112, and he definitely wanted to help us move our career along more than it ended up being, man. But he's a he was a hell of a guy. Like I saw the dude myself personally give this homeless person a couple of $100, you know what I'm saying? Just cause, you know what I mean? Because and I look at that not to this day, you know, and I'm 45 years old now, but when I was 19, when I saw 18, when I saw that. And then from that point on, man, I was like, man, if you got a couple of hundred, man, and you got this person over here, and you know you don't really need that man like that, then just I always took that and just ran with that. I was like, yo, Big did that, and that's you. I always had a it always resonated with me when he did that, and I'll never forget that. And from this day forward, man, like every time I get an opportunity, it's not often, it's not all the time, but when I do, if I see somebody, man, and it feels like it's the right move, man, then I do that. And that was totally influenced by Puff. I mean, by Big.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Rest in peace to Big. Definitely one of the goats. I mean, everybody that speak about Big, they always speak highly of him. You know, his character and definitely his music was phenomenal. Let
Absolutely.
me see. Okay, now I want to ask you one more question about Big. The studio sessions for Only You or Sky's the Limit, did y'all actually get a chance to see him record those? You know how everybody be like, nah, he don't write, he just come in and spit. Did you get to experience that, or was it like already laid out?
It was already laid out because Big was working on his album at the same time. So, and we were, putting our album together, and and at the time, Bad Boy still wasn't. Daddy's House. I'm sorry, Daddy's House wasn't fully built yet. So we only had about one room that actually worked. So most of the time on that first album, we were at the Hit Factory. You know what I'm saying? So we would miss each other as far as that goes. So we couldn't all be in the studio at the same time. But yeah, he went in and he knocked it out at first. The crazy thing was, man, he actually influenced us to do the song because we actually didn't like Only You at first. You know what I'm saying? Because in our minds, we were like, man, this ain't us. This ain't showing our vocal abilities and stuff, man. Like this ain't really showing nobody that we can really sing, man. We gonna be one hit wonders, yada 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 yada. We did not like Only You as our first record, bro. But once Big got on it and everything came together, we had to sit back and once Puff told us what the plan was, you know, we had to sit back and was like, yo, this man really knows what he's talking about. Puff wanted us to be, um, yeah, because it was like this big cluster of R&B artists coming out at the same time. You had the Drew Hills, the Ash Yets, you had the Jagged Edge, you know what I'm saying? You had Next, you had all these different artists coming out at the same time. Puff's mind was, what's gonna separate you boys from everybody else outside of the fact that y'all was signed to Bad Boy? You know what I mean? And it was gonna be the music. Now we knew that everybody else was gonna be coming out blowing. You know what I mean? Like singing their hearts out and stuff. But what was gonna separate 12 from everybody else was the fact that we, instead of doing the atypical R&B model, what we were gonna do is, yeah, we were still gonna sing, but we was gonna sing over up tempo beats, and we was gonna be dope at it. Because prior to us, nobody else was doing up tempo records and singing over the way that we did. You know what I'm saying? Like typically R&B artists, when they do an up tempo record, they singing all over, the track, and then you don't ever get the melody of it. The thing that was so great about Slim was the fact that he was able to sing in pocket on the song. You know what I mean? And the mind frame was, if I'm in the club drunk trying to holler at a girl, and the song comes on and you want to sing it to it in a ear, you ain't finna do all that riffing and running because you can't sing. But if you, but if you sing a girl, I want to be with you, so real simple, no one else, only you. Like anybody could do that, you know what I mean? And that was the whole gist of it, you know what I mean? So that was the mind frame. And once he put all that together, and Big came along, and then he put his Jesus, the Notorious, just please us with your liver. It was just it just everything, bro. Like I don't know if you've ever experienced this, man, but I'm sure you have, man. But when something is so right and it just falls right into place, and you know that it's gonna be successful, and everything that that has to do with that, whatever it is, that's what it was with that, man. Like the way Slim sung the B section, the way the hook came in, the way that Big came in and laid on, the way that we did the video, everything came together perfectly, man. And we just knew it was gonna be successful after that point. We just knew how to, man, this record could be out of here, bro. You know what I mean? Because everything just fell into place so right, man. And Big jumping on it was the icing on the cake. And I'll give you a story about Big. Like I never experienced him doing anything with 112s per se, but there was this one time where we was in the studio in one room, and this was at Daddy's house, and he was in the other room with Junior Mafia, and he was working on Life After Death. And I think Little C's or somebody was like, "Yo," they came into the room, was like, "Yo, what up, to Big want to see y'all. Big want to holler at y'all." And so we went into the room, and like from our waist up, it's nothing but smoke, right? So we can't see, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't smoke at this point in the game. We don't smoke. We don't really drink, all this other stuff, man. So they in there smoking. They was like, bro, we gonna have to get out of here, man, because we ain't gonna be able to sing shit in a minute. But Big, amongst all the smoke, whatever, Big just sitting amongst Junior Mafia. Jay-Z was sitting in the corner, Charlie Baltimore, everybody was just sitting in the corner and stuff, man. This is like 1990s. I want to say it was like 96 or something like that. It was around that time, you know what I'm saying? And Big was like, "Yo, what up?" And then so, we all dapped him up or whatever. And then so he was like, "Yo, y'all just sit in here for a minute, just that and the other, whatever." So he ain't saying nothing. He's just sitting there blowing trees and shit, right? And Junior Mafia, just everybody just, just being New York, you know what I'm saying? Just rah, 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 rah. Just being loud, just being New York, just all that New York, that good New York energy, right? So finally Big gets up around 4 a.m. And Lord bless the little engineer dude, man. He was baked out of his mind with all that secondhand smoke and shit. He was baked. He was like, "We finna record what?" It was funny, man. It was real funny. So Big finally got up. Now keep in mind, he never wrote anything down. I'm sure you don't heard that by now, the story. Big never wrote anything down. It was always in his head or whatever. And also attributed to his genius. So dude got up, went into the booth, and he created "I Got a Story to Tell." And that's the one that was like, my 112 CD blast. I was fast, she came first, I came last. Because we were in there and he was listening to everybody talk, and he was just creating this story in his head. You know what I mean? And it ended up being "I Got a Story to Tell." And he went in there and he knocked it out, bro. And like I sat back, I was like, bro, like I often heard people say the word genius before, but I've never seen it before. You know what I'm saying? In real life or whatever, until I saw Big do it. You know what I'm saying? And from that point on, Faith did it too. Faith does it too. Faith don't write nothing down. Faith will go in and she'll sing something, and then she'll record it, and then she'll come up with a line right after that with them. Those are the only two people that I've seen that ever do it like that initially. And yeah, that's genius to me.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. Them stories were so vivid, man. You could see everything. It was like a movie almost with Biggie,
Yeah,
man.
bro,
Rest in
crazy,
peace,
crazy.
King, man. Wow.